Hi, Trina Wright here. It is day 13 of 365 days of realizations. So here I am outside in the park, and you can probably tell maybe that it's a little bit less of a sunny day today. Well, actually, I have a light on my camera that makes it seem sunnier than it really is, but it is kind of a cloudy, I think you can see it there, cloudy day. And before I get started on any kind of topic for today, what I want to say first is how thrilling, wonderful, and awesome it is to live an unconditional life where a little bit of rain in the forest doesn't decide your happiness and where you can bliss out no matter what, because I fully understand that there is this spring of well-being that is just within me, that is the thing that calls me to how I want to feel in the moment, and that since it's all an illusion that I'm creating, I'm the one that gets to decide that. As Bentino Massaro says, I give my cues to my circumstance. So I am in essence dictating to the illusion how it's going to show up. And one of the really key ways to do that is in every moment, take responsibility and decide how you want to feel. So as I step a little bit out here, I can feel the rain falling down on my face. And what's really cool is I am vibing with it. And I knew it might rain and I was prepared for that. And one of the things I love about rain, other than just how awesome it feels when it lands on our face, which is so cool, is just to imagine that it is like raindrops of love. It's raindrops of remembering. That's what I love. That's what I'm going to do today. It's raindrops of remembering falling on me. So every time a raindrop falls on me, a little piece of remembering is integrated so that I fully know who I am, so that I fully understand what's going on here, and I'm not taken by the delusion anymore. I'm not taken into Maya, into the matrix. I stand firmly as a infinite being of love and life, indestructible, a soul that has come here to learn, to this environment, to shape and shift and create. Not to be limited, not to be lackful, not to be defined by something outside of me, but to play with that environment. And it's such a beautiful creation, so beautiful by design. And we all get to take credit for that because every one of our essences was engaged and involved in designing this beautiful game board that takes us to this epic understanding of who we are. And when we can manifest outside of ourselves what we feel inside of ourselves, that is delicious. So that was my little intro. And now what I wanted to say briefly, hopefully, maybe, is that as I walk down this path in nature, and I think you can see behind me that beautiful cool bridge, and I'm walking down this path, it reminded me of this journey that we're all on that is often referred to as walking the spiritual path. Not bad terminology. I mean, it has some truth to it. We are seemingly walking on a spiritual path. And at the same time, what's so interesting about it is it's not a path that's kind of there. I mean, it is. It's a path that's calling us all the time, but it's more of this co-creation with our inner being, where the path is lighting up in front of our feet incrementally as we go. And it is so cool. I mean, I just love that idea that from each experience we have, because part of why we came to be physical was so that we could take this understanding of being indestructible, of being infinite, of being God, and live it out loud in a physical, tangible environment so that the infinite one, God, source, whatever you want to call it, could tangibly feel what that means to have free will, and from free will to choose freedom. Not to the bondage of Maya, because that's illusory and it's a powerful illusion. It looks as if happiness is held over there. It looks as if through things and experiences, peak experiences, relationships, it looks as if those things are going to take us to some sustained happiness. But almost every single time, pretty quickly, and that's why I said almost, every single time, eventually, we will all come to the recognition that from that perspective of seeking happiness outside of ourselves and looking for those things to keep us happy can never take us there, because it's an inward place that the happiness is already there. There isn't somewhere to go. It's just already here, already and always here. So I love when Bentino said that in any given moment, we are constantly creating our reality. I think he's even boldly said every nanosecond we're creating it, though that's really hard for us to fathom. But in those moments, we get to choose. And to make it simple, he had said there's 5 choices in front of us. So one is to sort of stay on the path that stay on the path. So the path is going to continue unfolding in exactly the same vibrational level, the same tone. It's going to look exactly the same as the one you were just stepping. So your next step, I just took a step, remains pretty much the same. Then there's 2 that are slightly lower vibrationally speaking. So you get caught up in a lack of belief, you get caught up in a sad moment, you let emotion take you, you forget in that moment and go back to the delusion and let them insert, but no one can. But for what I'm trying to explain, there's no insertion, but it feels like someone else has told you that you can't do something and you accept it. So you pick a lower choice. So then all of a sudden you're in a lower choice. Now, the interesting part is not only are you now in a lower choice, the next 5 choices that are presented come from the choice point that you just chose. So if you picked the highest choice, all of a sudden you've expanded, you've opened, you've allowed more than you could have possibly seen a few steps back to come into your experience. But if you pick a lower choice, you've just lowered your options so that you're actually going to sort of fall backwards. And that's definitely not what we want to see. So I love this analogy that the spiritual path is something that is becoming. It is equally matched to us in perfect synchronicity and simultaneity. And not only that, the more attuned and aligned your character, person, whatever you want to call it, substitute your name, is to walking on that path, to being in cahoots with your inner being and using that co-creative power, then the brighter the path opens, the wider the experience can happen that can take you so that your path is sort of an upward path that takes you fuller and fuller and fuller so that eventually you and your inner being kind of walk alongside. So often, as a finishing ending note, when I walk, I imagine that I am walking with my inner being, and I have been doing this for a number of years. And as I walk and am giddy with my inner being, I love knowing that my inner being is just so excited to walk with me. It's so excited to feel that feeling of blendingness with me. I just felt a bunch more of those remembering drops fall on my head, which is so cool. And I got this little nudge that my inner being is going, yes, remember how delightful it is when we co-create together, when you are a cooperative component to whatever is going on. Not necessarily a cooperative component to manifest stuff, but a cooperative component to manifest the truth of who I am in any given moment, to feel so fully that I am a shard of God in this body, walking around, because we all are, and that's all there ever could be. So, I think I said enough. And I did just want to mention, I don't know if you did, but if you watched yesterday's video where I talked a little bit about the delusion, and I mentioned it a bit today, I am going to do a little bit more conversation about that over the next little while. It gets a little complicated, a little paradoxical, but I don't know. If you're like me, it's fun. I love to contemplate and explore and experiment and just question all of this and come up with my explanations that resonate and feel true to me. And it's a good way also to allow ourselves to open, to just open, because the delusion I'm talking about, the matrix that we all live in, has had us for so long. It's time for us to step out and say, you know what, I'm going to decide how I want to think and feel and be, and who I want to identify with, and how I want to go, and what I can and can't do. Because none of it's real anyway, all an illusion that you've created. So if you're creating limitations for yourself, if you're creating a feeling of wanting something that you can't have, or being something that you can't be, or serving in a way that you can't serve, why would you do that? So that will be part of an upcoming time where we talk about this delusion, how it has had us, but it isn't going to have us anymore. So I will leave you on that note. Go experience raindrops of remembering. And I'm going to just turn the camera around. I'm going to go upside down so you can see the beautiful trees up there shining down on me. It'd be so cool if I could actually, I'm spinning in my beingness, whirling. It'd be cool if I could actually catch a raindrop falling right on the screen, but I don't know how to do that. So pretend one just went, whoop, and you remember too. Have a great day. Tune into your remembering, And I will see you tomorrow. Bye.